The thing is, you can't kill the technology. 2024 is the big year. And look, I've been talking about this for 6 years. This is crazy. I've been talking about this for 6 years, that 54 was the mainframe, 68 was the microchip, 82 was the personal computer, 96 was the internet, 2010 was the mobile net, and 2024 was going to be this thing, the truth net. And what's the truth net? The truth net is the internet of blockchains, where the blockchains defined this spatial web and everything settles to chains, that we don't use centralized databases. We don't use centralized companies.
In this video, Mark Yusko explains his outlook on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, and why he thinks they're the future. He believes that blockchains and Web3 are the next evolution of the internet. He explains and provides quantitative data on the growth and innovation in the field of computers and the internet, the next iteration of which is something he terms the truth net. An internet of self-sovereignty and complete transparency. Everyone will be perfectly in control of their own data and money. He also explains that everything will be truly on-chain. Blockchain tech will do away with absolutely everything else, and everything that will survive will be on-chain. The truth of blockchain tech as an unstoppable juggernaut is embodied by the quote, "You can't kill the tech." Let's dive right in.
2024 is the big year. And look, I've been talking about this for 6 years. It's crazy. I've been talking about this for 6 years, that 54 was the mainframe, 68 was the microchip, 82 was the personal computer, 96 was the internet, 2010 was the mobile net, and 2024 was going to be this thing, the truth net. And what's the truth net? The truth net is the internet of blockchains, where the blockchains defined this spatial web and everything settles to chains, that we don't use centralized databases. We don't use centralized companies, where we don't have cookies tracking our information. We own our information. We don't use financial services companies that are outside the web to transact. We transact peer-to-peer using native digital assets. And 2024 was the beginning of that 14-year trend. So we're just beginning, right? We haven't even started the game. Now, the next 4 years, like 54 to 58, like 68 to 72, like 96 or 82 to 86, like 96 to 00, like 14 to 18, 10 to 14, they were all amazing. But then what followed every one? A crash.
Yeah.
Every time. Because we got super ebullient, valuations got too high, and then we had a crash. But what came off the other side of the crash? Remember in 2000, 2001, 2002, massive crash, end of technology. The internet's done. Pets.com is a failure. Web band's a failure. You ever heard of Amazon or Chewy? Those are pretty successful companies. Yeah. Uber, pretty successful company. Apple, pretty successful company. They all emerged post the crash. So we'll go, 2024 to 2028, and we'll have this incredible period. We'll build a bunch of companies, and then we'll have a bust. And we'll have a crash, and people will say, I told you it would never work. It's dumb, stupid, too slow, and then we'll build on the other side the real infrastructure to make it invisible. Like right now, you and I are using TCP/IP,
right,
to communicate in real time in HD. Like, how the hell does that work? I'm talking into a metal and glass box. It's going through the airwaves. You hear it in real time. There's no way that could work. We don't think about it. We don't talk about, are we using an internet company today? Are we using a voice over IP company? No. We say we're Zooming, or we're, meeting, or doing a Teams or whatever. We use the technology for its intended purpose. We don't think about the technology. Yeah. We don't think about what a blockchain is or does, and how it's different than a two-dimensional Web 2 solution.
Mark has talked about how the internet will be replaced by blockchain tech, and how blockchain tech will eventually become such an integral part of our lives, we won't even know it's there. He also explains that it's not going to take forever. In fact, we're weeks away from the beginning of a globe-wide shakeup, with the truth net set to begin to take shape in 2024. Next, Mark reinforces his previous points and provides a more vivid image of what the future could look like. Let's jump back in.
The thing is, you can't kill the technology. You can delay the adoption by, making the on-ramps and off-ramps difficult, or, trying to legislate your way to make it challenging for businesses. But at the end of the day, name a technology that a better one came along and it survived, right? I went to New York yesterday for a couple hours for a conference, and I didn't take a stagecoach. I didn't take a horse and buggy. I didn't take a train, and the horse and buggy replaced the stagecoach, and then the automobile replaced the horse and buggy, and then the train, was better. And then, ultimately the airplane came along and it's better. And, someday they say there'll be a Hyperloop. There probably won't, but the airplane's just fine. Technology is evolving, and digital technology is here to stay, and blockchains replace trust with truth. Truth is better than trust. And the banking industry has relied on trust for 800 years. They've had a good run. It's coming to an end. It won't end tomorrow, but ultimately we can all be our own bank. We can own our own assets. We can own our own identity, our sovereignty. The key word in the white paper is peer-to-peer, right? Hyphenated. But the reality is that's the key. What does that mean? It just means that I can send you value without an intermediary. That's the funny thing about fintech. There's no tech. It's just a UI UX. And it's not a web transaction, because I send it to you electronically using an app. But that's web too, Mark. Well, yeah. But then it leaves the web and goes into the banking system.
Yep.
That is not native. That is not digital. So what's going to happen in Web3 is we're going to have native currencies, Bitcoin and others, that will never leave the web. That transaction that you and I do will stay resident. Or I'll be in my car being driven, because, we won't drive, and it'll pull into the charging station. I won't get out of the car and put a card in a slot and have it call, literally use a phone line or an internet line to call a bank and approve the charge.
Right.
That will not happen. The car will access a wallet and pay the machine. That will all happen on chain, on the web. Web3 ecosystem.
The internet and global financial systems are long overdue for change, and with Mark's insight, it's safe to say that blockchain tech is the change we need. Mark has explained the potential of a future built around blockchains where there are no middlemen and everything is transparent. He's also explained that regardless of the kicking and screaming of anyone, blockchain tech is here to stay. The better will always replace the status quo. Just as the steam engine was replaced by gasoline engines and humanity is switching to renewable sources of energy against the desire of big oil, blockchains will inevitably replace the internet. What do you think about the future of blockchains? To see the latest in crypto news, watch this video here.